social media, mainstream media, etc. And in light of that publicity and the high level, it makes today a lot different. The press is here. We should assume that there's a recorder going, okay? And so it kind of changes the flavor of what the coffee normally would be. And it's in my opinion that the best thing for our community right now is not more of me talking, but me listening to you. And I know folks came here with something prepared to say, and so I really want to make sure everyone will be able to, be heard. All right. So, but I want to just give 2 clarifications about my presentation, and then we'll get to you guys. And first, I'm assuming that everyone here listened to the presentation online on the audio file at least one time front to back, so I'm presuming that everyone here has done that. So 2 clarifications. One, any discussion of out-of-wedlock births needs to include the fact that for every unwed mother, there's an unwed father that needs to be held accountable. That has to be included. And I did not take the time to do that in my presentation, and if I could do it again, I would certainly mention that. Second, if there was anything I said that personally offended any single mother, you should know that certainly was not my intent. Single mothers find themselves in their situations for various reasons, divorce, death of a spouse, and in my own situation growing up, my own mother was functionally a single mother because my dad was in Vietnam for a year. And I got to tell you, I was between the ages of 8 and 9, and 3 kids, ages 9 and under. And it was the roughest year of my life growing up, I'll tell you, having no father in the home. And so, I know personally the challenges she had. It was her toughest year as a parent, certainly. And I view single moms as, I saw my mom and what she did as a hero during that period, and single moms, in my mind, are a real hero. 20 years of coaching sports, I've had dozens, if not hundreds of players, single moms, and single dads as well, but primarily single moms, with single parents, and I know that it's difficult, and there are times when there's no male role model in the picture, and I and my assistant coaches had to try and fill in those situations. And so I'm familiar with it, and I have a heart for single moms. You should know that, from me coming from experience in that way. You should also know I am all about being the mayor first. This whole week has been kind of crazy. I've declined numerous opportunities to do interviews, radio, TV, and I decline those because I don't feel it's the role of a mayor to go gallivanting around talking about this stuff. I've been asked one time a year to go off municipal topics and talk about this, and I am all about and laser focused on doing the job of being a mayor in our town. And people have called me, hey, are you gonna do more? No, I am all about this. And so I want you to know that that is where my laser focus is. What I want to do is turn it over to you and listen to each person that has something to say. So we'll start on the left and go around. If you don't want to talk, don't raise your hand, but we're going to go left to right all the way around the room, because, and I'm just here to listen. I don't want to engage in a dialogue, because if we do that, we can digress, and then we won't get around the room that way. It's my job to listen, and we'll just keep it to that format. And before that starts, I just want to ask that we can just think of the notion about the notion that just because we might disagree, one speaker might disagree with someone else, and just because we disagree does not mean that there should be hatred or ill will assumed on the part of the other side. And can we agree that that tone needs to change in this country? And it's just a tone that needs to change, where we should not assume that. And so I hope we can do that today. I think we'll be able to. So without further ado, let's start.
Could people introduce themselves when they ask a question?
Well, how about we ask you just to say your first name if you want. And you know what? I think this has always been an invitation primarily for Mundelein residents. We sometimes get outside visitors, but we're assuming you're a Mundelein resident, and if you reside outside and you want to speak, just simply say your name and then where you live. Okay, and it would be nice if you were a Mundelein resident, you would say you live in Mundelein or you lived elsewhere. That would be great. I think that's what we're getting to here. Okay, so I'll just stand here. Go ahead and let's go around the room this way. Does anyone want to have something to say here? Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Dave Ekstrom. I've been in Mundelein a long time. I taught at high school for 31 years. I'm just very thankful that we have a mayor that cares enough about our country, cares enough about our town, that he'll speak his mind and his beliefs, and regardless of the response from the media or other places. So I'm proud of him. I think he's doing a great job. Been here for a number of mayors now, and I just think he's doing a great job, so I support him completely.
Hi, my name is Rich. I live in Mundelein as well, and I agree what he says as well as what the mayor says, that I've been only here 10 years in this community, but I believe what he says. Everybody has opinions, but I believe that God has given us the will to love one another, because we are all his children. And that's what I think the way the mayor feels as well. So I commend him as well for what he feels and what his heart as he speaks as well.
Around the room. This way. You don't want to talk? Okay. We'll come to the, how about the table here? This way? No?
Oh,
Okay.
sure. You didn't think I'd come and be quiet, did you? So, for those of you who don't know, I'm Terry Voss. I live in Mundelein. I guess I'm here because I'm concerned about the black marks that have been cast upon our village in the last 2 months since I've left the door. And I'd like to see that not continue. I love this town. I worked really hard for it for 12 years, and I would like to see our elected officials raise the bar for themselves a little bit. Mr. Mayor, you and I have talked many a time. I know your point of view on the subjects that you talked about. You know, personally, you have a right to whatever you want, but I feel very strongly that when you speak at events as our mayor, that you represent the village. And I think we're far afield of what you should have been talking about, which is things having to do with our community. And that you represented views that were yours, but don't necessarily represent the entire community. And when I was on the board, you and I had a few conversations about some of the speeches you gave that I thought were questionable. So certainly, when I'm off the board, I don't have to bite my tongue. I'm not going to. I have, as you know, suggested to you that if you're really about healing our community, that in the future you offer up to chief trustees your, if not entire speech, at least your outline, to make sure that you are representative of the community. Because for me, the Supreme Court decision is not the elephant in the room. It's why Walmart has an elephant in town. That's the elephant in my room. So I would encourage you to, in the future, bounce your speeches off of other people before you get them to make sure that you are representing our community, and we may not have problems. But I think you're a great mayor.
Thank you.
Well,
By the way, this is Bill Rikus. He's the trustee we usually have one trustee that attends these, and I just wanted to.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir. Yes, over here.
Francisco Franco, 30+ year resident of Mundelein. I just wanted to support you, Mayor. I think what you stated in your speech was spot on. We do have more. Thanks. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks. Support those issues. I agree that we do express some of the things that I would have expressed if I were there. I know I'm not the mayor, you're the mayor, and I really appreciate that. Up there and bring these things together. I don't think you were uphill, I think you were right, spot on. And what else can I say is that I support you. And topic. Let's do something with the old village hall.
We're gonna do this topic first. We'll come back. We'll come back, and that'll be the first thing we'll talk about. Okay. Going this way? Yes.
My name is Jack Forshaw. I'm chairman of the Mundelein Police Statute Funding Committee. I've been married for 49 years, and I can't tell you how many times I disagree with my wife. But I still love her and I respect her. I say when we're married. I don't agree with all his topics or all his votes on everything. I respect what he does. He's doing a great job. And we just need to stand behind him and give him all the credit he needs and all the support he needs so he can continue to do a good job. Thank you.
Let's go over here.
My name's Chris Woodard. My wife and I have lived in Lockwood for 27 years. The comments that I heard, as Ms. Voss said, were, I thought, inappropriate for the 4th of July from someone who should bring the community together. Whenever I hear someone talk like that, I always think of the person's colleagues, the person's family members, friends, and for me specifically, I'm talking about the same-sex marriage issue and how it affects people personally when a person says things like that and they don't have any idea of the ripples that go out of the hurt feelings and feeling of exclusion that they cause when they say something like that. I wonder what you're going to do to repair the brand that's been damaged. There's been money spent, and I filled out the survey, and I thought that was great. I love the new logo and everything it stands for. But the brand has been damaged, and we all know that because of how much publicity this has gotten, because it was such a divisive thing that was said. And I also wonder how you're going to repair the relationships that have been damaged in the village.
Yes. Oh, over here, Brett.
Pass this along that way. It's
My name is Ed Moore, and I think that I just wanted to say that the issues that were raised, I think, are not issues that I think are really the most pertinent or most prominent today. The gay marriage, I think, is something, you know, recognize that people, a large percentage of the population supports gay marriage. If you look at the polls that were done, and because I think it's not an issue of choice, it's a matter of the people are the way that they are. So I myself, my wife and I have been married for 45 years, and we have 2 children, and so, but I believe if you look at the whole population and accommodating the needs of the whole population, that it's inappropriate to judge gay marriage as an issue, a moralistic issue. I think we have bigger issues that we're facing, issues of gangs, guns, drugs. Those are things that are real and I don't know, you know, whether those are prevalent in our community or not. I think they are, but we're not talking about those, and we're not facing those, and those are the issues that are really going to damn society if we don't do something about them. Gay marriage, that's not so much of an issue. I don't really think that was one that I would have picked on as a moralistic issue. But these other issues are things that are real and that are damaging our society and things that we should be facing and dealing with. So, just my opinion, that there are bigger fish to fry than the ones that you picked on in your talk.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is Michael Atkinson. I've lived in Mundelein a relatively short period of time in this crowd at 15 years. And Mr. Mayor, I wanted to tell you, I found your remarks, which I did listen to very carefully, offensive. I was deeply offended by your remarks. And there were 2 points specifically I wanted to bring to your attention. I'm not sure you're aware of this, but there are single moms who are employees of the village of Mundelein. I know one who is a Mundelein police officer. I know her pretty well. I wouldn't presume to speak for her, but she's a fantastic police officer and a fantastic mom from what I've seen. And I can't imagine what I would feel if I were a police officer in this town and was disrespected the way she was by you. That would really upset me. I don't speak for her, but that's certainly the way I would feel in her shoes. Secondly, with regard to the gay marriage issue, I found your remarks ignorant and bigoted. And I don't want you in the future, I'm asking you, in the future, to not use the podium of the mayor, to not use that bully pulpit, to spew that sort of thing in the future.
Keep doing it, Mayor.
Thank you. Lou Bruno, I live over at Springbrook Court, and probably most concerned about getting my road fixed, if you know what's going over at Springbrook Court and what's the problem over there. But I think that gets us back to a little bit of the discussion here is we have issues here that are, and for all our officials, we have issues that are gripping our town. I mean, I did my long walk this morning up through the old Dominic Shopping Center and almost cried, you know, when I'm looking at all the vacant stores there. And obviously you can, you know, go down the street where the Best Buy used to be, and I guess we're getting a little bit of good news because we're getting a restaurant in there. And it really doesn't matter, Mr. Mayor, whether I, you know, support you or think you made the right comments or not, but to echo some of the other comments, over the last week when I've told people, oh yeah, where do you live? Oh, I'm from Mundelein. Usually I have to explain where it's from, where it is. Okay, you know, we're up near Libertyville. Oh, okay. And the perception is out there, and I think the lady that spoke before said, you know, we have a negative image out there, and maybe Terry Voss said that too. And that's the type of thing that us as citizens here, as residents of this community, if we're caught up, everybody, in issues that really don't pertain to our community, when our tax base is dying up, and if our tax base is dying up, I'm not going to get my road fixed, and the rest of the people on my cul-de-sac, and I know the people on my cul-de-sac have complained about it to you. So I think I would ask our public officials to judge carefully what they say. We don't want to offend anybody out there from investing in Mundelein, from living in Mundelein, from bringing their business in Mundelein. We want to attract everybody. And if we get into partisan politics in our small community, we're only going to hurt everybody here. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Trudy. I actually live in unincorporated Mundelein. Actually referring to a zoning issue that will be coming up. It's already been discussed 2 weeks ago. Happens to be with Mr. Graham's BP gas station on the corner of 6083 and 60th. I'd ask that, especially to the trustee who's here today, to please reconsider some of the issues at hand with the zoning annexation for that gas station. It impacts 2 communities of homes, West Shoreland as well as Beckett's Crossing. It also may be a quick fix for some easy money to unload a piece of right-of-way property that looks just like a treed lot, but it impacts an awful lot of homes. And it also is going to not only bring you the quick fix of selling the property, which would be great, and bring you in money from video gambling, but it also brings with it needing to have the police force and patrol more often. It's going to bring in an unnecessary amount of traffic, especially through our community. And I would ask you to please never let the road that is already a dead end be open to Midlothian, because it would just be turmoil for all the homes.
Okay, let's finish with this topic. I wrote down that topic and we can visit it when we go into other issues of the list building here. That's okay. Let's finish up with this topic on the speech and then we'll move on to that, about the other topics. So we're going this way, then we'll come back here. Over here, anyone? Okay.
My name is Mike Allred. I just wanted to say I support Mayor Lentz. I think he's done a great job as the mayor, regardless of his speech the other day. I think we can all say there is a lot of issues going on in the country maybe we don't agree with, and we all have different perspectives, and we all have different beliefs of what's going on, what we think is best and what should be said. But for the most part, I think this was blown out of proportion by the media and other people like that. And yes, it doesn't look good on the community, but I guess not all media is, getting the name out isn't always a bad thing, so at least people know where we're at now, I guess. But I just want to say I support the mayor. I think he's done a great job, and so yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'm Laura. I live in Mundelein. I also support the mayor. I think you've done a good job, but I think your remarks have tarnished the image of the community. I don't think you can be an effective leader. I think you can't be an effective leader for the people that you've that you've insulted, and I think you can't be a good leader for the people that you're working with at the village that you have made angry. And I ask you to consider resigning, because I think the image has been tarnished in a way that you can't get back. One woman asked, what can you do to fix it? I don't think you can fix it.
Going this way? Yes.
My name is Terry. I've been a resident for 25 years now. My husband and I have had one foot out the door for about 2 years now because we're fed up with things not progressing on the line, the storefronts, things like that. I would say that this speech that caused the divisiveness that it did probably has got the second foot out the door. I think anytime you start saying that one segment or one generation of society is at the worst moral crisis, that you're going to lose your audience, because every generation has their moral crisis. I don't think it was your place to sit up there and talk about that. If I was a person considering bringing a business to Mundelein and I heard the kind of speech that I heard, I'd be turning around and looking for another place to go.
Okay.
I'm Glenn from Ivanhoe, and if I was looking to put a business somewhere, I'd bring it to Mundelein because of the speech. There's other reasons that need, other things that need improvement. But anyway, I think part of the mayor's job is to provide leadership, and if you're a good leader, you're always going to have people don't like the things you say, but that's part of the job, and I support the mayor this time.
Yes.
Ray, 4 years, 5 years Mundelein president. Had my ups and downs, but I support the mayor completely. You know, it may or may not have been the right venue. You know, I understand that. But the truth is the truth. I have my niece is a single mom. My ex-wife is a single mom. So, you know, we have been backsliding as a nation. Our walls have been slipping, and so has our country. So, it may not have been the right venue.
Thank you.
But, you know, when you speak from your heart, sometimes you'll offend. And I don't think the offense was meant to be a personal or vindictive thing. I really don't. But the mayor obviously has made his point and has made that clear that he didn't mean to offend any person. But, you know, love is the hard thing. It's very easy to hate. Hate is our natural bent. But to forgive or love is very, very difficult to do. That's the elephant in the room. Every community's going through their hard times right now. I don't think it's because of 10-minute speech or something. I think that the economy's not where it needs to be, and that's why every community is hurting right now, and especially in Illinois, one of the worst budgetary states in the union. I think we're ranked 48 out of 50 or something like that. So 49. So I don't think we should be putting the mayor in a fire pit, you know, and blaming everything on him because of what he said from his heart. It may have been the wrong venue, but it was from his heart. That's all I have to say.
Next.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor. My name is Michelle. I've been in Mundelein 56 years. The reason I'm here this morning is because the fallout of particular views that, as an adult, I have my own views, my own perspective, but it's my child and his friends who are 15, 16, 17 years old at Mundelein High School that have gay parents, that have alcoholic parents, that that might have a sister or an aunt or someone that was an unwed mother or a single mom due to divorce or violence or drugs. And I'd like to know what you personally could do or say when an athlete comes up to me in tears and says, Mrs. West, why are they picking on my moms? Why, you know, why does the mayor think that this is a child that knows nothing other than two moms and has his whole life? What do you say to that child? You're gonna mean it? They don't get it. They don't get it. Kids that have alcoholic parents. That's all they know. What do you say to them? What do I say to someone that is 16 years old and can't comprehend a bigger picture of what you intended to say? And I don't think you intended to hurt anyone. I really don't. I think that the forum you picked to speak out was a little, maybe not the best, now we should tell this. But how would you suggest I speak to a 17-year-old who's in tears on a football field and didn't even want to come to practice because he's embarrassed? What do I say to him? I don't know. I mean, the Supreme Court spoke out. I live in Mundelein. You know, this is my world. That's not my world. I live here. I want this to be a nice community. I want everyone to be safe. You know? I've been here a long time. I remember when you walk down the streets and, you know, let your kids ride their bikes until the street lights came on. It's not like that anymore. You know, you're practically 10 feet behind them, wondering are they okay. So, that's really all I have. I just would like to know how to turn around that kind of hurt. Because they're hurt and, you know, some of them are a little pissed off. Sorry for the language, but some of them are pissed off. And that's their family. And they feel like their families are being attacked. So, that's all.
My name is Reverend Santos, and we just came up on my moved to Mundelein last autumn and last September, and I would say my husband, and I do believe in the right for people to gay marriage is a civil right and an equal right for people, and I come here as a peaceful person because I consider myself sort of peace activist, even though I don't make people congregate and stuff. I've written letters to Congress, and I've gotten letters back from Senator Obama when he was a senator, and I've made him aware of issues that I believe in. But I come here to tell you that I moved to Mundelein because I feel it's a very diverse community. It's very racially, economically, and politically diverse. And I respect everyone's opinions and their freedoms to believe in whatever they want to believe. And I feel it is a safe community. And I teach respect, tolerance, acceptance, love, and peace. You know, because I went to a Catholic college and I went to religious courses, and my religion is love, and that's what I was taught through the Bible and through religion. So I consider myself a moral person. I've never been arrested, so I never, and I come from an immigrant family that my mother's never been arrested, and so I believe that it's my right to feel safe in this community, and not feel like I'm gonna, as soon as I come out the door, that I'm gonna have a hateful message written on my garage or something. You know, you have to be careful what you say, because words are like, you know, like an army that can march out once you say them to a public place, and you can make victims, make people, innocent people, of victim that you're not even aware of. And so for that, I just say that I would teach inclusiveness and tolerance and acceptance.
I personally feel that your speech on the 4th of July was bigoted, racist, and divisive. And I am personally offended by those ones. And I'm wondering, because you asked if anybody was personally offended, I was. And I want to know, will you apologize to me?
Talk with you one-on-one if you want.
Okay.
Later.
Sure.
Anyone else? Yes.
Pastor Alex Moles, I'm pastor of Community Protestant Church here in town, and I've been a resident of Mundelein for about 8 years. And as someone who has to get up and speak every week, I can empathize with you somewhat, Mr. Mayor. However, I must join my voice to those that are hurt and offended by your remarks. I had some work done on my house, and my flagpole mount had been a casualty, and when the gay marriage decision was announced, I mounted my flagpole because I felt so strongly that this was a right for people to commit themselves to one another freely in this country. I was proud of my country that day, and I wanted to show it by putting my flag out again. And I think that, yes, I too believe in forgiveness. I know that it's hard to take back words that have been said. And I teach and preach forgiveness and reconciliation, but that's not an easy process, and it's not something that just one apology can take everything away, all the consequences away. I'm more concerned about the attitudes behind the words than the words themselves, and how that will affect our community. I think that you've got a lot of work to do. You've got a lot of work to do in this community to rebuild those relationships that have been damaged. And I think that in order for those attitudes really to change, you need to spend time with the kind of people that you were quick to condemn. And I think this gentleman here has offered himself as perhaps one of those first people. And I do believe that you will work your way through this and you will be better for it. But I was very sad to see this speech, and I pray that through this mistake, healing will be brought to our community and ultimately to our nation. So.
Mayor Lentz, well, I just don't understand the anger of someone expressing their opinion. I think everyone has their own opinion, and it's been expressed that on one side and the other side, we're all Americans, and we should all at least listen. I heard it on Mundelein Moms that moms are going to turn their back. I don't understand that. I think maybe it's good to understand and listen. But one side got to have their points expressed, and they were able to be heard. And look what happened. And I think that there's some of us that still disagree with that. But I don't think we should go out and get rid of those people. We're talking about tolerance, and the behavior of someone disagreeing with that verdict is just intolerable. So I think that I agree with Mr. Lentz. I think I was raised in a family that was divorced, and I hated not having my father with me. I hated the time that I spent with my father and not having my mother with me. So, I mean, there's just something wrong about a child growing up without one or the other. And if it does happen, well, it still doesn't happen. You still love the people. You're not saying that it's wrong for that person what they did. Things happen. I believe also in this country being founded on inalienable rights. Those inalienable rights were given by a creator, as it says in the Declaration of Independence. And we believe that the Bible was given to us by a creator. And if the Bible says one thing, that's what we're going to believe. We're not going to cast out the other people because of that. We're going to love the other people. I'm sorry that we're going through this as a town. I love this town. I voted for Mayor Lentz, and I love you guys. Everyone here, I love you too. And but I don't think we need to be angry at the mayor for expressing his opinion. He has an opinion. We all have opinions, but we don't need to be condemning each other for it. I don't think he was condemning. I think he was saddened by the situation. It seems like we're living in a postmodern world where everything is good and everything that's, well, maybe I'm extreme in that comment, but there's things that we know for sure that are wrong, and some things we accept, and okay, but we don't need to condemn the mayor or someone for disagreeing. We might be wrong, I might be wrong, but let's talk it over. I'll still listen. I disagree, but I'll still listen. I'll still love all of you as Mundelein residents. So I just don't think that we need to be angry or as we call it here, that unaccepting, or what's the word that is intolerant. We don't need to be intolerant because of someone's opinion. I think we need to at least listen and hear where he's coming from. If we don't want to listen, fine, but let's not be intolerant to each other. I'm afraid of being here and a picture being taken of me and then later losing my job because I disagree with it. Why? Just because I disagree with it. I'm not doing anything. I'm not going out hurting people. I'm not going out speaking against people. I'm just stating my opinion. Let's just unite over these differences. It's okay. We can just be different about it. So I'm sorry.
Both sets of my grandparents moved to Mundelein in the early 40s. My parents were raised in Mundelein. My siblings and I were raised in Mundelein. And as an unwed mother, I raised my son in Mundelein, who's now an adult and who's gay. So your words were particularly offensive to me. I stand by your right to have that and to believe what you believe. As a Christian, I understand that walk of what the Bible tells us and loving our neighbors and our friends. As a lifelong resident of Mundelein, though, I can't express to you how important 4th of July is to us. It is where we had our community days for the 42 years that I've been alive. We love 4th of July, we love the fireworks, we love Mundelein Munch. It's when our town comes together and celebrates what makes our town and our country good. And I feel like you trashed it with your speech. You could have come out and talked about how great our country is and we've got things to work on, but we're great and we're good and we're great things to stand for. But instead you decided to turn such a great celebration negative. And I, for one, as an unwed mother of a gay child, your words, I don't care what your opinions are on those things. I just want to know that you're sorry for where you had your speech, for what you said, for your position and for where it was. I think you're entitled to your opinion. I'm okay with that. We can disagree, and I'm good with that. But I just think you used the wrong forum. And for me, I just want to hear you acknowledge that it probably wasn't the best place to lament about the ills of our society.
Yes.
So, I'm Rebecca Atkinson. Michael's my husband. He expressed, I think, my personal views about the content of your speech pretty well. But I also think it needs to be pointed out that you were introducing a 90-year-old World War II war hero who lost all of that lost all of that limelight, lost all of him being honored because of your speech. Your speech had nothing to do with him and all of the sacrifices he made for our country. Instead, what you did was you dishonored his efforts by saying everything that's wrong with the country now and how our country is sliding into moral decay and moral crisis after he put his life on the line for them. So, in addition to all of these other things, I'm deeply disappointed that you took away from what should have been his moment. And that's all I have to say about that.
Well said, dear.
Hi, I'm John. I'm a Vernon Hills resident, but spent plenty of time coaching Moneyline sports teams and shopping in Moneyline, visiting friends. I just wanted to come today to just express my perspective that I think that what the mayor did in his speech is something that's very common to what many politicians did, and on both sides of issues. And I believe that the mayor is entitled to be able to have that kind of conversation, and I believe that what he did was absolutely legitimate, absolutely appropriate, and the inability to allow that kind of thing to happen without a lot of blowback, and that's part of being a public official too, so you're going to get that. It doesn't seem to happen with other topics, and I just feel like the need that we have as a community is to just allow that to happen, certainly kick off the discussion. That was something he was looking to do, and I think that did get a discussion going. And so with that, I think that he's absolutely showing the leadership that a politician needs to do to get the conversation moving. And with that, I think that this is actually very healthy for him. Those are my thoughts.
Anyone else? John, I disagree with your comments. When I've listened to everybody here, I think what we're missing on through this whole process of the last week is this is the greatest country in the world. That's how I was brought up, and I still believe it is the greatest country in the world. The 4th of July is meant to celebrate our independence, but more importantly, past, present, and future soldiers that fought for this country. It is not a stage, in my opinion, to bring up moral issues or what's right or wrong with this country from the perspective of your speech, Mayor. That's not the platform for it. It really isn't. I read the Tribune article from Upbeat or whatever his name is. He called you, wanted to talk to you, and you had no comment. Yet you said you're open and willing to talk to people about it. And the Tribune tried to engage you in discussion, and you didn't really have a comment on it. I was a little disappointed that in your speech and all the things that I read about it, that you went back to a 1930 study based on something that might not have any appropriate meaning today. We're in 2015. Had you maybe done a little more homework and come up with other studies, might have had a bit more meaning. But it doesn't change the fact that your speech was brought up on the 4th of July, meant to celebrate this country. And the reason I'm here today is, we all know what you said. I'm not challenging you on that. I don't agree with it, but I'm not challenging you. But as the mayor of Montalina, I think you have bigger problems and bigger opportunities to be working on for all of us that live in Montalina that need to be addressed. High taxes, vacant business buildings, things we've talked about at City Hall meetings. Those are what I want my mayor to be working on for the community. Your personal opinions, and that's kind of why I disagree with you. We hired him, we voted for him to be our mayor, to make this community great and position it properly for the future. I don't vote for a politician to give me his opinion on the things that you brought up on the floor. What you think about unwed mothers has no place for a mayor of any city. It really doesn't. And I think that's what a lot of the community is saying. So I just want you to know how I feel. And really, if I make those type of comments or anybody else makes those type of comments at work, we're led to the door. We're gone. We are fired. And that has happened on the national scene as well. There is no wiggle room. That's just not allowed. I don't want a picture. I'm just being honest. Thank you.
I just want to say I'm Gunner. I've lived here for 19 years. I appreciate a politician who actually says something. I appreciate I know his background. I appreciate that he cares enough to let you guys know where he wants to know. If you don't agree or I don't agree, I like the fact that I know where he stands. He's not just trying to say stuff and make everybody happy. I'm not to irritate him. So I appreciate that. I support him. And I support everybody here who has an opinion.
Well, and that's fine. But I think the comments that the mayor made has no position in the mayor's office. That's just my opinion.
One at a time, and then we'll go to the municipal. Anyone else? Are we done? Yes.
John Reamer, I've lived in Mundelein 25 years. I think there's something good that's going to come out. Our nation's motto is E pluribus unum, out of the many one. America is the great experiment to build, observe. Unlike European cultures, we have multiple cultures here. Our heritage from the early centuries was fairly common. Now we have people from all over the world and of different values. So we're a pluralistic society, but I think the discussion that we can all have with one another is that pluralism means two different things, and this is where we're rubbing against whatever our position is. One is social pluralism. That's E pluribus unum, that we are one nation of people from across the face of the earth. I have ancestors that came over before the Revolutionary War because they were going to be killed by religious authorities. I have others who were simple farmers who came over to work a farm. Many of you have similar stories. There's a second kind of pluralism, and that's ontological, which means my values are equal with your values, and if you don't agree with me, you're wrong. And that's what we're rubbing up against. We're a pluralistic society socially, but when I hold value X and you hold value non-X, how do we discuss? And I think what can really come out of this for our city is when we learn to honor, respect, accept one another, but agree to disagree on certain moral issues, because we're not ontologically pluralistic. And that's my concern, reading the Facebook comments. I'm chairman of the Human Relations Commission. I've been chairman for about a year. I put together the police forum. I was the starting force for that to create greater discussion between the police and the community. I think some of you was helpful. And listening to this, I want to think about this. What does this mean for us as a village? How can we talk together in respectful ways? Because we face that issue as a nation, we certainly face it as a community. E pluribus unum, we're one nation out of diversity. But we don't agree on certain moral and societal issues. So how can we work together while still being respectful? And some of the comments I heard here today, frankly, are not accurate to what he said. And I think that's what we can all learn from. To hear one another. I posted an article on Mundelein Moms called, "Why Are You So Reactive?" 6 points on how to listen to other people. And it's a great article. You can look at it and Google, because if we don't listen to one another, give one another the benefit of the doubt, we're going to make judgments. And then we won't get along, and we'll polarize. And I love this community, and I know the mayor does, and I know all of you do. And so our challenge is how to move forward in a respectful way, or we'll agree to disagree. And I'll just pick up one of the mayor's example with alcohol. I occasionally drink. I'm not a teetotaler, but my grandfather drank himself to death. Left my father, his sister, and his mother, and her sister alone in the Depression. That's a complex issue. How do we deal with alcohol? The mayor brought it up in a minute, and it's a long discussion. We would have various and different opinions about it. Most of us would agree that drinking ourselves to death is not a good idea. Most of us would not agree, let's go back to the prohibition. So we have this complex discussion. And I think that's the value of what we're doing right now. And I hope we continue to have respectful discussion. Thank you.
Hi, I'm nervous. I'm not a public speaker. I'm Laura Tazioli. I've lived in Mundelein for 17 years, and I've gone to Mundelein Community Days probably every year, but had never been to the Patriotic Celebration. A friend of mine said, this is my favorite event of Mundelein Days. I said, okay, I'll go. She said, can you come and help serve lunch? They serve this wonderful lunch, just chicken and beans and mac and cheese, and oh, it's wonderful. Sure, I can come. So last weekend at this time, where was I? I spent all morning at this wonderful patriotic celebration. There was a band that came together, and I was sitting with them at lunch, and it turned out they didn't even know each other before they came to this thing. There was just a call out, you know, we need a clarinet, we need a whatever, whatever. They came together, and they were able to play like patriotic march after patriotic march after patriotic march. It was wonderful. We got to meet this, you know, older gentleman. My husband spoke with him. My son is in the Army. You know, my son's going to go meet this man because of the celebration. What I want to say is, regardless of the, you know, all the comments that have been said here today, the attendance at the patriotic celebration is dwindling. And I hope that all of us next year, when the lunch comes, we remember this. We're like, oh, that was something last year, wasn't it? But I hope we all get over to that patriotic celebration and honor the men and women that have served in this country, and honor our community, and honor those that will step up and be a leader.
Okay, you know what, Steve, I'd like to say something. That's my wife, Laura. I'm Mark. I was there. I listened to the speech. I have yet to hear anyone mention what his main point was in that speech. He was talking about the history of the government in this country, the democracy, and how it, no matter, he was just saying that no matter what your viewpoint is, there are dark clouds over all of our lives. Everybody has a dark cloud, and democracy in this country works to correct those problems, and that's what makes this country so great. Whether you, I didn't feel like he was saying anything negative about people. I felt like he was saying even though government moves slow, eventually they correct problems, whatever those problems are, for the people of this country, to make this country a greater place. And that's what I thought he was trying to say. I've known Steve a long time. I've never ever heard him say anything disparaging about people. He doesn't, I didn't hear him say that he hated anyone at that speech. I thought he was just trying to talk about the history of the government in this country. And as far as Don Carter, the veteran, I was very honored, and I, you know, afterwards spoke with him, and he was very honored to be honored at that speech, at that celebration also. So it really was a celebration of the government of this country and for the soldiers of this country. Okay, yes.
My name is Gwen Burney, and I was born and raised in Lake County. Sorry, I'm nervous too. Born and raised in Lake County. I've lived in Mundelein since 1991. I took a small ranch, added on to it. Our home value is now above the median value of Mundelein homes. I was a high school guidance counselor for 33 years. I help teenage kids and families every single day for those 33 years, not a blemish on my record. I coached for 20 years, varsity volleyball coach, both at Lake Forest, Antioch, Lakes. Exemplary record there, have many students I'm still in contact with. Never been in trouble with the law. You can look up on Lake County, which is more than I can say for some past trustees and village representatives and current ones. So, I'm also a gay woman. I married my partner last June, which is legal in Illinois. And the fact that you think the Supreme Court ruling is leading to the downfall of America, if what I've done in my life is the downfall of America, I'll take that any day. And you have no right to demean me, and what you said was discriminatory, and in my whole life, I have never had anybody say anything as discriminatory as you did on that day. My dad's a World War II veteran. I am ultimate patriotic. The flag is at my house flying right now. And for you to make some blanket statement at a public event was incredibly offensive to me. And now I really wonder about Mundelein, because you're not the leadership, you don't represent me, and if, I don't know what else I can say. There's nothing more I could do in my life to be a better person. And in one fell swoop, you made a statement and changed that.
Treasurer Terry Voss. Yes.
So I just, in sort of in closing, whether we agree with what the mayor said or not, whether we agree with him that the venue was wrong, we disagree with him, whatever, this is sort of one of those things that whether you mean to or not, you obviously did. So our brand, Mundeline's brand, that we all endorse and throughout the community, was that we would be all embracing, that we would be welcoming of diversity. So I know that you did not intend to insult anyone. In hearing the comments in the room today, obviously your comments did hurt, and that was, I'm sure, was never anyone's intention. So the question is now, how do we get back to the brand? That's really all that's important. Is how are you going to lead us back to the brand? Because that's on your shoulders. All the other things that we talked about, the downfall, moral, society, but all is not. How are you going to lead us back to the brand? That's really all we need to know.
Just very quickly, Terry, I 100% disagree with you. Getting back to the brand is very important, but so is healing the hurts from all the people that the mayor's speech was offended. That's way more important than the brand.
Okay.
Hey, Mayor, could I just
Yes.
say one more thing? The man from Vernon Hills, I just am shocked that you come to Mundelein to shop. That's all I have to say. You killed your credibility.
Our target's not really.
Well, hey, what the hell? We go to Vernon Hills to shop.
We got to more places there. Folks, thanks so much for attending and
Could you address her question? How are you going to fix this? Do you
No, I
have any
can't-
intention of fixing it, I guess?
Well, I have a lot to think about. I think that Mr. Raymer's remarks, and in the capacity of the Human Relations Commission, I'm looking very much forward to getting with him because he's a commissioner, he's the chairman of a very important commission we have in town, and we have to think about that and come up with a plan. I think we will, and I can't speak to that now because it's just, I would be shooting from the hip, and I don't want to do that. It's not wise. But you've given me a lot to think about, and it will be definitely thought about greatly, and I will take counsel with others, and have the appropriate conversations. I can guarantee that. I will have the appropriate conversations with the right people down the west. Okay? So with that, we have, yes?
I'm so sorry I'm late. We had gymnastics, so that takes precedent. But I appreciate you being here, but and I'm sorry if you guys worked through all of this, but I think I've been carrying a lot of anger around for the week. And I would be remiss if I just didn't get this off my chest. And I just thought that, you know, you had the opportunity to talk about this great nation and this great town and all that it offers and all that we can be together. And it was a huge miss that you pushed your political agenda and your personal beliefs on this community. And that's not what, when I voted for you, that's not what I wanted. I want you to make this town the great town that it is and even better than it is today. And that's what I expect, not the comments that we heard on the floor. So, all right, I have to go pick up the babysitter. Thank you. Sorry.
We have about 20 minutes. We can get to a few other issues